some validity in the area. You know, people are outstretching to save a dollar, whatever it may be. So there's so much value in actually hiring a good person for your business, or your house search, or your listing, or helping you find a property. It's not just who can save you the most money. It really comes down to who explains the programs best to you, who works hard to have you fit those loan programs, and who's looking out for you. Who wants to create a relationship and not just a 3-day transaction, right? So that was one of the big things that I took away from that conversation. I want to share with you guys.
So did you have to kick in $5 grand?
No, I don't. Not yet, not yet, the day young. I'm kind of taking it over today. I had this little pop quiz game I sent to Jenny a couple weeks ago. I need to fill in today, so I said, why not have a little pop quiz game? So it's a 5-question mortgage pop quiz. Don't worry, no Scantrons, and I'm hating myself, no Scantrons, there's no PDS flyers, nothing like that. For you millennials, that's a paper test that we used to have. Just saying. Yeah, there you go. So 5 questions, it'll be real quick, and then we're gonna kind of elaborate a little bit. We're gonna go to the first question. First question of the morning, can you get a mortgage without a credit score? It should say credit report. It should say credit report. So you can get a mortgage without a credit report.
Does that count? That's the question is wrong.
Yeah, well, thing is,
So we all get money.
we all get money. I'm giving you all the free stuff. So you don't need to run someone's credit to get a mortgage. You use non-traditional credit. You can, my credit bureau, credit reporting company, we send them your cell phone bills. You pay 12 months in a row, they create what's called a trade line. Everything on a credit report is trade lines, cars, credit cards, whatever. We can also add trade lines like cell phone bills, car insurance payments. You have non-traditional credit. Some of these jumbo lenders or non-QM lenders and non-regular mortgage people will give you these, but they want something to grade. They need some kind of history. Usually they're scored at the bottom level, so usually the rate's a little bit higher, but you can get a loan without a credit report. My bad. Next question. What's the difference between getting pre-qualified and pre-approved?
Pre-qualified is just asking question, pre-approved is where they run it.
Well,
It's on the paper.
and review their
And
income,
yeah,
and review their assets, exactly, yeah.
Yes,
Good job, Byron. So, application, someone come up to me or any lender, say, hey, I make 100 grand a year, my credit's about 700, I owe 40 grand in the bank, you think I can do it? Yeah, probably, but I can't give you a pre-approval letter without actually looking at your documents. And a lot of people in this market, they want to do business like it was 5 years ago, when there were so many houses on the market, they didn't have to do an application. Go see a house, they love it, go write the offer and they get pre-approved during the counter phase. Those days are not here. You have to be pre-approved to get sometimes to even view the property, let alone get your offer accepted. How many of you listing agents would accept an offer without a pre-approval letter? Exactly. Exactly. So.
The DU a step above a pre-approval then?
Okay, so a DU is a DU or LP, because there's the desktop underwriter, which is Fannie Mae, and then there's loan prospector, which is Freddie Mac. So what those systems are, those are automated underwriting systems. After you do have to run credit to do that. We submit it to their electronic system, it reviews your credit report electronically. It reviews the information that I've inputted and see if the loan will qualify. Now, the reason why I say information I've inputted is I can tell LP or I can tell DU whatever the hell I want. I can say the client makes $125,000 a month, that they have $400,000 in the bank, and then we have to prove it. So you have to be careful with DU and LP. They're great because it does review the credit report. Yes, it does, but it's also garbage in, garbage out. You can tell the system whatever you want, and they'll believe you. But that's the difference between pre-qualified and actually being pre-approved. But the GU and LP are part of the pre-approval process. Yes, correct.
As opposed to having an underwritten file.
Yeah, so so that's the new big thing, is lenders are slower than they were before. The underwriters are only working 6 to 7 hours a day. So lenders are submitting their files to the underwriter, they actually approve them. So when you see that, when you look at your purchase contract, you have that third box that says underwriting approved, that's the box you would check if you're representing a buyer. Because they've actually been underwritten approved, not just being the licensed loan officer, now the underwriter has reviewed the file as well. It's much stronger than a pre-approval. Because at that point, it's the underwriter who's hanging their hat on the loan. I can do that for any client if they want it. If we're tight, if we have a situation where I kind of iffy on, let's send it to the underwriter. Let's have them look at it. That way, when we hit the ground shopping, we got strong offers to put out. So that box means a lot more. Yes, Al.
Is that underwritten approval good for a long period of time if nothing changes?
If nothing changes, it's still gonna be like that for 3 months because the credit report will expire. But you have the conversation. It is a conversation starter. You know, you saw me ask the question and you say today, pick with the orange juice. Next question. How much did you save for a down payment? Anybody? No, 20%? 30%. But what's the minimum that you need? There are, yeah, and then I have my 1% loan as well.
Whatever makes sense to the buyer.
But yeah, whatever the buyer, the state, or whatever the program is, if they're a veteran, especially, there is no down payment requirement, but they could put one. So always talk to the lender, talk to me about what the buyer's options are, because there is 1% down. There's a new program I'm gonna talk about next week on my actual turn. It's called a Sapphire loan. It's a first and second FHA 0% down loan. So I'm gonna tell you about that next week. 0% down. 0.
Wow.
So that'll be next week. So
$20,000 income limit.
no, 55 DTI max. No, the income limit is 150% of the adjusted income for the area. So LA is probably about 160 a year. So not bad. Not bad. What are mortgage points? Anybody, mortgage points? I don't have any gift cards.
Once you pay to, whatever your rate.
So when you pay the points at the lower rate, is it just for the first year or the first 5 years, is the whole term of the loan? Correct, exactly. So it's important to have the conversation with buyers because not every buyer needs to pay points. Let's have the conversation about, especially with rates are right now, I don't want to use the word high, where rates are right now, it might be better to actually put down a higher down payment. Because the dollar for dollar is so close now. Even the mortgage insurance, FHA dropped their mortgage insurance, it's almost the same as conventional. So you really have to dive deep into the loan. Should they pay, should they ask for pay points? Should they put on a little bit higher down? Should they just pay off a credit card? Maybe it's more worth it that way. So it's different things to talk about with clients, not just a blanket yes or no. It's really depends on the buyer and their situation. I think I have one, yeah, Chris.
I don't mean to be the class nerd, but when you're filling out an RPA and on the loan section, it says the interest rate not to exceed and the points.
Mhm.
A lot of times, most of the time, you get them with no points in there as far as that goes. Is it better to leave that blank or just throw out a guess?
Well, so I'm gonna be honest with you, Chris, Gordon was the one that schooled me on this. Because before I would say, just put X, Y, Z, just what doesn't matter, it does matter. Cause what it protects the buyer, if you put 6.5, and the rate goes to 6.75, now the buyer can get out of contract. So with points, you almost always wanna talk to the buyer, like, are you paying points to the lender? Cause you don't wanna put in a situation where you put buyer to pay 2 points. And the rates go up, now then the buyer has to pay 1.5, he goes, oh, I'm not gonna pay that. Sorry, the contract says you have to.
Right.
So you wanna have a conversation with the client because you are obligating your client up to 1 point, up to 2 points.
So if you're the listing agent, you get an RPA, an offer, and they've left that blank, which a lot of people leave it blank because they don't want to jeopardize anything,
Yeah.
including I've done
No,
that too.
of course.
Should we call it out and have them fill it in?
Yes and no. I don't think
If
you're
your loans.
You know what?
Yeah.
You put in.
So the listing agent will come back, buyer to pay the prevailing rate up to 6 3/4 or up to
Yeah.
7 or
Yeah,
something.
but the-
Higher than the actual rate.
Well, yeah,
Six
we
points. And I
we
always
don't
add-
like that because you have to have your loan contingency period for, that's protecting your buyer. Why add another stipulation
Mhm.
that's more in favor of the buyer, especially in this competing market?
Mhm.
Are you gonna go for that offer who's telling you like they have constraints on their
Right.
loan, or are you gonna go for the stronger buyer?
You have more flexibility.
Yeah. That's what your loan contingency.
Yeah, they're all over the place sometimes.
Yeah.
Not to exceed 7 is a ridiculous statement to make,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of ways to find it 7 with either points or buy down to wherever it might be.
Yeah.
So I don't like to put in there, not to exceed.
No,
I like to put it
we
in.
always counter it out, always.
So you want, yeah, it's a conversation to have. So it keeps them, it keeps you engaged with the lender. You know, really does, because there are so many lenders, like I said, looking for business, who knows who they're working with. I saw a mortgage note, although the client yesterday, the lender was. You're the best mortgage rate.com. Yeah. Okay, so it's kind of like one of those things like, whatever.
And they do a subjective loan, they say, okay, that's all over the place.
It's all okay. Yeah, what does that mean? We had a loan at the beginning, you know, are they doing, this is crazy. What do you guys wrote?
No, I see, what was the interest rate on that? Yeah.
7.5 balloon.
Oh,
7.5 balloon, yeah, it's disgusting. All right, last one. What does your mortgage payment include?
Principal.
Principal?
Interest,
Okay,
tax.
there's a loan. Tax and insurance.
No,
included.
no.
Unless unless usually you're in a government loan,
Yeah.
those government loans are the only ones that are requiring it. Most of the time, you put down less than 10%, the lender still wants to have the taxes and the insurance included in the payment. What about HOA? Are HOA dues included in the mortgage payment?
No.
But are they?
Be calculated in your.
Exactly, yeah, we do have to include them with the qualifying.
Overachievers.
Yeah, so. When clients ask me, hey, what's the payment on this, well, how do we compare rent to mortgage? They should be comparing the rent to the principal and interest. Taxes are a part of owning a home. And you want to have a conversation with them about talking to their CPA, about writing off the interest that they pay. You know, you want to just make sure you have that CPA in your corner or in their corner, so that they feel comfortable making these offers. Because rates are not what they were before, but there is much more incentive because you have a very gray silver lining of having a better tax write-off. It's very gray, but it's there. So the bottom line is you just keep in front of your clients, having communication with them, sellers and buyers alike, because again, like I talked about 2 weeks ago, $300 million in 9 days. If these programs come out, people are gonna take advantage of them.
Yeah.
So be prepared. If anything I learned is down payment assistance is still a thing, and people want it if it makes sense. So let's hit that pipeline, make your calls. I don't care on make a call like usual, but keep in contact with your database. Because the worst thing you want to see is your buyer or seller, hey, we just closed, and you're not the realtor in the photo. Right? So you guys have a good day. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I got a client you help. I'm here to help you guys.
Great information, we have Grant.
It's my pleasure.
Slowly running out of stuff.
Those text campaign.
Yeah, well, that's actually a perfect segue to today, actually.
Right, I'll give those quick. Easy and very inexpensive.
Nice. Well, that's what I'm talking about today.
All
So,
right.
perfect. So I've had the pleasure and somewhat pain of working with KWLAH Command a lot lately with showing people what, wow, tough voice crack. What you can do with the system. I do think it's a work in progress. Like I've talked to some agents here, so I think it's a system they're putting a lot of money into. So there's gonna be some like weird things that happen along the way as you're trying to build out this system. But overall, I think it's a CRM system that eventually is gonna be this great place where you can have your contacts, do a lot of campaigns and manage those. But wanted to highlight, like Carol Ann was talking about, one feature of Command that I think is going to be pretty useful for people, especially if you're picking up buyers and maybe trying to find off-market deals, or maybe you're hosting events or you're a lender trying to find people with high interest rates. And that's doing text campaigns through KWLAH Command. So it's a system called Twilio. And so that's what Carol Ann was referencing. So it's kind of this third party like MailChimp or all these different applications where you can create an account and basically connect it to your KWLAH Command. And then if you have a list of contacts, maybe you've imported them, whatever it is, and it's like 100, you can send a text message to all 100 of those for really cheap, just with a couple of clicks of the button. So I don't have a video for it yet, but I'll be doing it this, or I guess next week. So then you can kind of see step by step of how you go about getting that data in there. So obviously you can do it with like your past clients. Yep, Leslie, you have a
Quick question, with Twilio, do you have that random number or does it come from, it does fill out random number?
Exactly. But what was cool is when we were doing it with Carol Ann is you have the option to choose numbers. So you could choose, like she was doing the one for a specific city. She was able to choose a phone number for that specific city. So that way they're getting it and it's not looking like it's like 855 or something. So it's 310, 323, whatever it is. So you have the ability to choose. Yeah.
Question, for do not call this, is it also considered to be under that? Because
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of like a weird gray area. Yeah, so I don't think it's part of the do not call list. So they could like register the number or block it or register it as spam and then it's Twilio to kind of figure out what they're gonna do with it. It was actually something I was helping a friend with like last month. I showed this program where it's gonna be all in one and you just have to like say the area you wanted and it's not the text and Twilio basically shut that down, saying it was like against the terms of service. But for some reason, you're able to do it within command without them flagging it or stopping it. So right now, it's not considered do not call list, but I'm sure like over time, the regulations might change.
Sorry,
Yes.
do you think because you put them in command, it implies you have permission to contact them?
I think it might be that, yeah, so command is kind of like that
Yeah,
client facing. So
Yeah.
That could be it.
And is this better or equal to like the old slide broadcasts and stuff?
Yeah, I think it depends. So Slide Broadcast, for those that don't know, it's kind of this like application where you can import a list of contacts and it's gonna do a voicemail to all of those people without like calling them. I think text might be a little bit better because it's a text message, they can respond to it right then and there versus Slide Broadcast, they have to go into their, missed calls and listen to the voicemail. Sometimes that translation doesn't do a great job, so. I think the cost is probably still cheaper for the text messages too. So like Carol said, if you have a right message and like a reason for texting, I think it can be really useful. Like Sergio's done it a lot too and has gotten traction from it just in terms of just like, hey, these have sold in your area, interest in selling, and he has a listing presentation coming up because of that. On top of the other stuff he's doing, it's not just the text messages, right? Or if you have the buyer or whatever it is. But then also too, so you can do the text messages here. I wanted to show, like, let's say you don't have a huge sphere of influence or people you're working with and you want to start to try to build that out a bit. This is a system we have called Fidelity Passport. So there's kind of like three main apps we have with Fidelity. So Fidelity Agent 1, that's where you get all the calculators and marketing material. Total Farms, where you create the map areas and whatnot. Then Fidelity Passport is the third one. And so if you're trying to do like property research and get property profiles, that would be one use case for Fidelity Passport. That's really effective. The other thing is building lists of data. So this is where a lot of the systems we have, like Total Farm and whatnot, get their data from on the back end, which is in Passport. And what you can actually do with the Passport is create map areas or choose a whole city or anything you might want. You can actually get the cell phones for people. So like if you're a lender, you're trying to find people in LA County with an interest rate of like 9%, you could do that, get the cell phones for all of those people, throw it into command and say, hey, are you interested in refinancing or something like that? Or in other realtors cases, if you have, a buyer looking for a particular type of house in San Pedro in a particular neighborhood like this one, the South Shores, for example. So let's say you have a buyer who's really looking for a house there, you can get the cell phones for them and text those homeowners and say like, hey, I have a buyer, they're approved or interested in an offer or something like that. So those have been campaigns that I've seen that have been successful. So I'll be showing that next week, step by step of how you get that from Passport, how you export it into command, get it all set up and then do those text campaigns. But obviously too, I'm happy to sit down with you or if enough people are interested, happy to do a class too, and kind of show all of those things and how they work. So that's the first thing. And also too, under that general theme of like working with buyers, trying to find off-market opportunities, you can actually go to my YouTube page, Grant Luna YouTube, and I have a video like this, how to find off-market properties for your buyers. If you're really trying to go down that route, it's something to start looking into. And then the other thing, I released a video recently, this was yesterday, kind of working through that process of, figuring out how to import contacts successfully, which can be hit or miss with command. But I did show how you can kind of get a big list of contacts from Fidelity Total Farm. So maybe if you're farming an area consistently, and what you can do to try to set up that import pretty successfully. So you have tags associated with these contacts. And also do at the same time how to actually attach house anniversaries as well. Because there's actually smart plans, like Caroline was mentioning, the smart plans, but they have it for house anniversaries. So now if you have a farm data, you have everyone's house anniversary coming up. And if you're just looking for something to give yourself consistent touches, very easy thing to reach out to people, give them a handwritten note on their door and say happy home anniversary and whatnot. So the video is there on the YouTube page. If you go to Grant Luna YouTube, AW command, contact, import, and tricks, it's 13 minutes. I do step by step. So literally like showing you how to do the Excel sheet and how to reconfigure it and how to add tags and all of these things. So as you're watching it, if you're struggling with it, or like you just like are like literally like, I just need to sit down with Grant and do this, feel free to text me. I'm always here to help you out. So any questions on anything I mentioned today or anything like that?
I just want to say thank you because it is very true. I messaged you, I texted, I emailed, and very responsive, very helpful. So thank you. And you actually did. I watched a video, probably one of your last 2 or 3 videos, And it reminded me, there's like that people finder.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't turn out great because they already had an agent referred to them, but it literally got me, mom had passed away, and it got me to the daughter.
Mm.
And she's like, if we didn't have an agent that had been referred to us, we would have loved, you know. So it really worked. It really
It
got me
does
to the
work,
person that I needed to get to.
Nice, very
It's
cool.
freepeoplesearch.com, right?
Fast people.
Fast
search.
people search.
Or
Yep. Two people search too. Thanks for that. That one, it works really well with Fidelity passports. If you're like doing like property research, it's really good because you can find like the mailing address, find where the property owner lives, and then fast people search will do like relatives and everything like that too. And it's free. So you just search the address, and you're good to go, and you have all of these phone numbers, especially if you're just getting started and don't want to pay for like Mojo or whatnot. So thank you, everybody.
Building your database is probably like the number one thing you should be doing as a new agent, besides like cold calling, but the database, that's where you need to start, really. And so that's perfect resources is grant. Okay, closings, let's see what we got. Wow, okay, T Whitney, Wendy Rich Soda, double on Cypress and T Whitney, Angel Estrada. Your hatchback, double, on Alex Rodriguez, and Chef Tom Barra. Somebody guess how much the total is, what do you think? 4, 6 billion, okay, look. Okay. And $1 million. Yeah. Okay, let's see what we got on your listings. Let's see, Sandra Hackney has a new lease on Silver Spur, asking $1,900. All right. Oh, excuse me, is that office?
Yeah.
Oh, office, okay.
15,008.
Wow. Yeah, that's. That's probably the whole building, yeah. Okay, and then Gordon and I have a new lease in Rancho Palos Verdes. We're asking 19,000 a month.
Wow.
It's
Take off a zero, I'll take.
fewer construction, so yeah, really Ocean View is really pretty house.
Nicole, you already have a showing already, don't you?
I do have a showing, so we'll see if we lease it for 19 days. Sports figures. We've had really interesting tenants here. We've gone through 2 so far. They've been like people doing construction on the hill.
I'm just gonna go spend 20,000 a month on this, you know.
Really? Yeah, like music people, writers, producer type interested. So yeah, and we leased it last for about 16,500, and now we're jumping it up a lot. So we'll see what happens.
Go get it.
Okay, I read it.
Okay, Prestige Team, they have Carolina Street, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths.
So that's a re-list of
Yep.
another listing with a $50,000 price reduction. And I'm
Nice.
gonna be putting up some interior photos.
Nice.
That's currently being used as a board and care home, but it is an actual single family home. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It's a 6-unit building site with ocean view. It's you can do an ADU in the garage. It's a 7,700 square foot street to alley lot. And I mean, it's, yeah, plus, I mean, it needs to be, you know, updated inside, but it's a nice solid house. Sit there from the front deck, watch the fireworks, they get shot off right in front of it on Cabrillo Beach. You know, you guys know town, Korean Bell, Ricky Pool right up the street. I mean, that's a phenomenal opportunity.
Are you marketing it as a boarding care or both?
I'm both, but I'm
Oh, so
gonna
you can
be
stay.
promoting it more heavily. The thing is, the license is not transferable.
Oh.
So, but it has a 20-year reputation of being a
Okay,
board
okay.
care home, so if somebody's looking for that opportunity, yeah, that's,
Otherwise, you
But
deliver
if somebody
vacant, like
just
60
want-
days.
yes, if somebody just wants a really nice, big piece of property in Point Vernon to live in now and maybe consider, you know, they could build a 2nd story. That, like I said, they can knock it down and do 6 condos there
Wow.
or townhomes. Yeah, could you imagine 2-story townhomes and a rooftop deck? How phenomenal that would be.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, it's a good opportunity. just need some, some updating on the interior.
Yeah,
We also, will keep going.
yeah, let's see what else. Okay, it jumps to Sal. Do you want to talk about anything?
Well, we did a small price reduction on the Almeria property, which is still one of the only houses in Palisades. 2,600 plus square feet, it's technically 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and then it's got the build out downstairs that could be an ADU or separate living quarters for older kids, parents, whatever. It has a bathroom, huge ocean view, 1.5 from Paseo, 1.379. Bring it, good house. I also just listed, it's not on yet, but we have a signed listing, 3 units at 1271 West 9th Street. 2 of the rents are pretty much market because they've been rented in the last couple of years, so they're pretty close to market. It's bringing in over 4,500 a month. It has 3 garages. It's in nice condition. A couple of the units are remodeled, and that's at 979. So yeah, it's not bad at all. Feel like there's something else. Oh, I've got one more working on, so that'll be a little.
All right, thanks, Karen. So Sal's got a lease. asking for-
It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, single family home, vacant, Supra. There is an ADU in the backyard, somebody's in it. Not my price, it's theirs, but, so, if you have somebody submit, if there's good credit and good income, then they certainly will be able to work out a fair price.
Yeah, just so you know, for leasing, it's funny, we put up a lease and we did our own photos, not what we're gonna do that. And we got a ton of activity, but not really any solid applications, really like rough applications. We recently took professional photos and put it back on, and it seems like we're getting just a lot more like applications, a little bit more like serious, solid people. So it's really fascinating how just even in leasing now, it seems like it's expected for professional photos or just really nice quality. And maybe it, I think it has maybe timing as well, better timing. No, so. But it's hard to justify the price. What you ask your owner, right? You say, look, you're investing $150, whatever for it, and you keep those photos. Every time you need to release it, you have the professional photos done. And you don't need to go back and take new photos with your iPhone. It tends to be worth it, and for us, leasing is building relationships. So when we do that, we're building that relationship with the client, like, when they do goes to sell, they know we do a good job. Okay, Lee Marinkovich on Almond Tree Street in Emmett. Wow. Anybody know about this house? 2,100 square feet, asking $497. Cool.
I was just gonna do that.
The buyer?
Yep.
For Emmett? Okay, cool.
I was just thinking that.
It's actually, this is Victor Tuberosi's listing, not Donna. He's listed Sunside Street, and it's 29, almost 3,000 square feet, asking 1,329.
That's down by the YMCA. He's got an overpriced offer already, and that was.
I'm not surprised. I told him he priced it really nicely. The square footage, 3,000 square feet, and it's Victor's, not Donna's there. And then Carol Ann, you got Culver City. What's going on?
Yeah, it's 1.7 basically, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a fixer, 3 bathrooms and kitchens. But that area, like, you have an open house on Sunday, 70 groups of people.
Yeah.
I only have 1.5 offers right now. Like, 3 days. Well, I think, but, it's a weird market. It's a gorgeous street. Got these beautiful Chinese elms, and it's right there by some of the studios.
Nice.
The whole street is all Spanish. 100 years old.
Yeah, Culver City's hot. Okay, this is Gordon's on Stonewood Court. It's actually price reduced to $799.
Giving it away.
Which is how, yeah, it's one of the largest models there with the 4 bedrooms.
This is the one you want.
And we've got, it has the bedroom downstairs, totally remodeled. And so $799 is the new asking price.
Oh.
Really nice townhome. Gordon, anything else? Great, good, great.
Great liner.
About a year and a half.
At least, yeah. Big,
Got a full bath downstairs.
Does.
it does.
And a bar.
In a bar.
Oh, well, then.
Is it supply of that cost? So honestly, if it's not, if it's not.
Yeah, so. Everyone's talking about how should 70 people at our open house, well, on the opposite side in Rancho Palos Verdes, I was showing property on Saturday. And we show up to the open house, a line out the door. There's probably about 30 groups waiting outside just to get into the open house. Granted, she listed it way under market and we know it's going to jump exponentially, but the lines are back, like,
Yeah.
they're back.
It's
Go ahead, Sal.
So was that line there because it wasn't open yet, or the agent was supplying one group at a time?
So they, people got there early, so one, people were early. Two, they wanted us to sign in and they were doing like 3 groups at a time, trying to control like how many people were in there. So, and then it ended up kind of letting like 5 groups in at a time. So they kind of filter people in, have people signing in. It was like an ordeal, yeah.
How much was another price?
About a couple $100,000. It was listed for like 1.5 and it's probably gonna go to 1.750, you know, so, yeah.
It's definitely getting crazy again. I wrote 2 offers in Torrance. And both of them came back with counters of like 18-day escrow, no appraisal contingencies.
Yeah.
An 8-day inspection contingency. I mean, it's just, I'm like, oh shit, we're back to this.
Yeah,
We're back.
right? Yeah, so
Yeah, the Bloomington property that it just closed had, we had 90. We had 90 and we
90?
did come in, I had 24 offers.
oh my God.
Yeah.
How can I'm surprised I don't have more offers yet,
Yeah.
because it's stayed 3 or 4 now. And I don't know why I don't have more, I'm just surprised.
Maybe give it a couple more days. Give it a couple more days.
And it needs work.
The 2-bedroom, 1 bath just punched 1.57. 1.5.
Any other case study?
Yeah, we're still early.
Aaron told me one time, cannot underlist the problem, but you can overlist it.
Right. So true.
Underlist, you're gonna get this, what you're hearing right now, multiple and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's 2021 all over again.
it's coming up. The wave is back. The buyers are coming back. The weather's, yeah, the weather is clearing. Storms cleared.
I heard an agent told me that the shock, the sticker shock of the interest rates has
Yeah.
worn off.
It's worn off.
And buyers are like, okay, well, it's not going down, so I might as
Exactly.
well, you know.
Same conversation, yep.
Yep. Karen, what do you
All
think?
about inventory, isn't it? It's all about inventory.
Yeah, right? Yeah. What are you seeing, Karen, under listings and buyers?
Well, honestly, the 2 listings I have, those bigger ones are kind of, a little quiet, but, I think, like I said, it's a pricing function, so we drop the price on both of them,
Yep.
so we'll see what happens this week.
Yep.
But anything like with the buyers, I mean, anything that's within a decent price range or, the any the 7s, 8s, anything
Yeah.
like that,
Tough.
it's hard, because
Really.
there's still so little inventory.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I was looking at one point at all the houses in San Pedro last weekend, there weren't even 40.
Yeah, no, it's low. That doesn't help at all.
So much you're selling.
Right.
And the higher end too, the like up in Rolling Hill.
Yeah.
Cool. That property we list for $6 million and we got a 5.3 all cash offer that came in. And it sat there for a while, but nobody's showing it. And then we also made an offer on listing back there in the $3 million range, so that buyers are starting to come back in the higher range too. It's changing a little bit.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Okay, oh, birthdays. We have a bunch of birthdays this month. Chris just had her birthday. Everybody on you, happy birthday. If you see them, let them know happy birthday. What else we got? Top producers for March. Okay, cool. Let's show top producers. We have number 1 with Gail Sigliano, 2 with Alice Rodriguez. 3 with Taylor. South Angel, Nancy, Blanca, Maria, Susan, Chris, and Kevin. And congrats, you guys, you're working hard out there. And our top teams, Prestige Team, Gordon and Nicole, #2. Good work. Okay, I wanted to touch on Red Day because it is around the corner, so it's really coming up here. What day is it? May
12.
May 12th. Okay, so I mean, this is a huge thing we do in our office. If you're new here, we want you guys jumping in and participating. We basically post up at our local grocery stores. We have a list of donation lists that we ask for, and we literally hand out flyers. We sell it. You know, we're out there like the Girl Scout cookie people, like, you know, bring us back and we tell them who it's going for. We have flyers and we collect donation. We also collect donations with our own personal spheres. So we reach out and when it comes from you to your family, your friends, your clients, it just shows that you like to give back to your community and it goes over really, really well. So I highly suggest putting it on your social media. If you don't know what to post, ask Jenny. Jenny's like the Canva queen, right?
Whoa.
Jenny, she can help you. She can give you something to post. Yeah. And then something I started doing for this because I'm passionate, but yeah, I'm super passionate about this because
And you're right, and the newer agents that are newer to our office within the last year, who wasn't able to participate last year. We really are encouraging you guys to set aside the 12th to come with us and be the face of our office, okay? It's really important, so mark your calendars now for the 12th, block it, and we'll be getting with you guys. Who's coming in what time.
all day thing, we put it on a schedule. We have groups here that organize. It takes, the food we get takes up this entire room. It's really amazing. And something I started doing is on my own social media, I ask for Venmo donations and I make it so easy for them. I said, give me the money and I'll go shop for you. And that's gone over really well. I've raised like, I think the most I did was about a couple thousand. So like, yeah, I made $1,000 pretty much every year. And that's just from people giving me $5, $10, $20. And someone will give 100, like, okay. Woo, you know, so this goes to Toberman House, Pedro Pet Pals, and Harbor Interfaith. These are all in our backyard and they're like amazing. Toberman is like one of the top organizations in the country. They have like awards for what they do. They feed like it's like over 50,000 a year, something absurd. It's just crazy what they do, able to do. And then we do have shirts. If you don't have a shirt yet, sign up to get your shirt. Cool. And then you guys kind of know the other stuff in our team meeting. We have so many training classes and we've been, Leslie and I and Mary have been working super hard about kind of getting things, you know, back in our office, more classes here that are going to be run by our agents, our top agents here that are going to be teaching classes. So you kind of get that face-to-face instead of old Zoom. But we do have social media class coming up, May 4th. That's huge. You need to start using social media and using it strategically. Producers Club is 8 a.m. on Fridays. We've got this gentleman will be there. These two gentlemen. And then 8:30 a.m. With Mary King every morning. Wow. On Monday, sorry about that. And then Producers Mindset, that one's daily at 8 a.m. We have so much stuff. But our main focus is really Red Day is around the corner. So start marketing it now because it'll come really fast. Book club. And that's it. You got, go ahead, Kevin.
I'm sorry, I had back in these ones I didn't want to.
Okay.
Someone off market is selling a condo unit in Inglewood for that tenant occupied 3,200, bringing in 3,200 a month in rent. 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and it's tenant occupied.
Okay, thank you. You got it. Thanks for sharing. Connect with him if you have anyone for that. Otherwise, have a great day, you guys. Thank you, guys. Hi, thanks for joining. Got it.